Welcome to another episode of Done is Better Than Perfect. I'm your host, John Grubbs. Welcome to the show. It is a cool Friday afternoon, and I am excited to share this content with you because it's a question I often get from people in business, people in the volunteer community, well, people just in general, even parents want to know the answer to this precious question: how to motivate someone. Now, according to dictionary.com, drive can be defined as an inner urge that stimulates activity or even inhibition. Drive is intrinsic. Motivation, on the other hand, is defined as a process that arouses or sustains or regulates human behavior. Motivation tends to be extrinsic. So, think about our tendency as humans to be social and even sympathetic, and how this can prevent us from, well, having clarity when it comes to others. We tend to develop relationships that are accompanied by our emotions, and we quickly lose our vision when it comes to other people. And this also occurs when we join an existing organization and experience the complex relationships that already exist. We call this politics. We become part of the fabric of the new organization as we enter. So here's the question: can we provide motivation for others? Can we stimulate that inner urge? The answer is both complex and very simple. On the one hand, we cannot control another human's inner response. However, we can control the external stimuli that might drive the proper response. So, motivation is usually a temporary condition, while drive tends to exist over a long period of time. Here's an example: a student can be motivated to study for a test, while drive is often necessary for them to complete a degree plan. It's a completely different view of the same reality. Now, the job of any manager is simple when we hire employees with the skills, the knowledge, I call this the capability, along with the internal drive for the outcomes that we seek. If they have the skills and capabilities and they have an inner drive, our life usually gets to become really simple. Now, the challenge occurs when we begin to compensate for someone's lack of skills and knowledge. This activity becomes the new normal. Here's an example. Another team member does extra work for the incapable individual, or the manager lowers the expectation for performance. Either way, the incapable individual and the organization adjust downward to the new expectations. We slowly begin to accept behavior and outcomes that might not be tolerated otherwise. Staying with me so far? Drive, on the other hand, begins inside each individual and cannot be inserted by someone else. We can't give someone else drive. Driven employees are the difference between success, existence, or even failure if there's no drive. Hiring employees that have exhibited driven tendencies in the past or in other parts of their lives, that's the ultimate goal. So driven employees can be identified by many ways. Individuals who have struggled to accomplish educational goals, physical fitness, or any other long-term goal is definitely a clue. Now, drive might begin it can be as complex as managing a big project to success, or as simple as determination to attend work regularly on time. If you find yourself compensating for a lack of drive, you probably have the wrong people on your team. So be willing to look objectively at each member of your team. If they're not driven by the work, you will constantly be working to provide temporary motivation. It's your choice. Now, I'll give you an example. I was teaching a class recently, and there was a young single mom in the class, and she was a minority. She had no other family in the area, and she was in her last semester of college, getting her bachelor's degree with 3 small children. Now, if that's not a driven individual, what is? So look for tendencies for people to exhibit drive in their own lives. Look for things that they do away from work. Look for things that they do that might show you that this is a driven individual. And beware of this temptation to try to motivate people. Motivation is temporary. Drive is a long-term characteristic that individuals either have or don't have. And by the way, the drive may be a result of being in the wrong role, or being in the wrong occupation, or being in the wrong organization. Now, did you enjoy this episode? Subscribe and comment below. Slam the bell to be notified when another show drops. Share this with others. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of others, one video at a time. Now, I always end my videos with this simple request. Always remember that done is better than perfect. I'll see you next time.